Researchers say Aboriginal interpreters are being underutilised at Royal Darwin Hospital and it's putting patients at risk. They say there's an urgent need for more interpreters, improved staff training and a better understanding of the interpreter's role.
David Dhamarrandji's first language is Yolngu Matha, spoken in his Arnhem Land community of Galawinku. Recalling his recent experience at Royal Darwin Hospital without language assistance brings him to tears.
I was afraid when no interpreter came and I didn't know what was going on, so I actually discharged myself.
Mr Dhamarrandji returned to hospital several days later, saying he was still confused about problems with his heart. His experience is far too common, according to one interpreter and several researchers who've been looking into the issue.
So training is fairly ad hoc, so it doesn't happen consistently and sufficiently so that all staff are able to access training in how to work with interpreters.
Mr Dhamarrandji says he wasn't offered an interpreter while in hospital, despite asking for one. And the hospital says it's possible some people are missed.
70% of the patients that come through here are Aboriginal. That's a high percentage for such a large hospital.
There's only one interpreter physically based here at Royal Darwin Hospital, usually fluent in Yolngu Matha, the predominant language spoken by patients. But that person's only here for 4 hours in the morning and on weekdays. Outside of those hours and for the variety of other languages spoken by patients, interpreters must be telephoned. Interpreter Nadezhda Pazana recalls an experience she had about a year ago, which she says is still a current problem.
So I was very surprised that there were 60 patients in my language group, but I hadn't received a page from a health professional asking me to interpret for one of those patients.
The interpreter service was hard fought for 20 years ago and covers almost 100 Aboriginal languages and dialects. Aboriginal liaison officers are also employed at the hospital to meet with patients, contact family and help staff find an interpreter.
So they only need to go to the ward clerk and say, I need to get an interpreter, or they just need to say to the Aboriginal liaison officer, we need to get an interpreter.
They should explain and that they should tell the patient the right and deep story, because Yolngu don't read paper. Always have to learn by picture.
And it's not just an ethical issue.
If you don't understand what your condition is or what the intervention is, how can you give informed consent, and which is a legal requirement? So people sign consent forms, they don't know what they're signing.
The hospital says all staff are trained to use interpreters properly, but that educating a transient staff population remains a constant challenge. All parties agree more interpreters would help. Felicity James, ABC News.